good, man? How you doing, sir?
What's good, fam? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks, man. I gotta represent, man. Game six, we gotta close this thing out so that we can
Yes,
end up
sir.
in the Eastern Conference Finals, man. Against it looks like it might be Miami, not Miami, Milwaukee. I mean, I would rather see Milwaukee than see Brooklyn, to be perfectly honest. But I like Brooklyn a lot. You know what I mean? I like KD. I like Kyrie, but as a Hawks fan, I got to root for the better chance that we have to win, and I think that's Milwaukee.
Mike, where do you have KD all time as a basketball player?
KD's a tricky thing, man, because I think that move that he did when he went to Golden State, even though we know his natural abilities and his ability to play the game, I think that that is kind of a damper in his all-time greatness. But without thinking, I would say he's a top 15 player. Wouldn't you say that?
I think he's a top 15 player easy.
I think he's a top 15 player. I think big men, when we start getting into that, welcoming everybody into the room, by the way. We're going to be talking about the best hip hop albums of 2021 so far. Um, Quan Newark says that KD's top 10. Right now, we're talking about some basketball
Right.
because the Hawks are playing right now.
Right.
All right, so
So
you're thinking more top 10.
I'm thinking like specifically kind of like 11, like right at 11.
Okay.
Like I would have him right behind like Olajuwon, Kobe, and Bird and guys like that. But I would have him ahead of most of everybody else. But with that being said, when you're that caliber of a player, and the kind of money that's on the line is on the line, like it's about to be, unless there's somebody comparable to that, as in like a top 10 to 15 all-time player on the other side of the
Mm-hmm.
court, you roll with the top player in a situation like this. So I'm going
Most
to pick
definitely.
Brooklyn because of that.
I
Because
think that
only
I,
because
it,
they're only because there are only even three top 15 players from this generation, and that's LeBron, Steph, and KD. And
you think
Steph's
Steph
in the
is in
top half.
that?
I mean, yeah. I
Steph
mean,
is
yeah.
different because he's one of those
No,
guys that he
I
has. Go ahead.
no. Specifically, I would probably have KD at 11 and have Steph at like 14 or 15, like all time. Yeah.
Listen, I love Steph, man, because I love the 3 point shot, and he's by far the best 3 point shooter of all time. But one thing I will
But
say about Steph is the fact that he's not the same guy in playoff situations as he is in the regular season. You're not going to find many, if any, top 10 to top 15, maybe top 20 NBA players all time that have been to the finals multiple times and still don't have a finals MVP. I think that's a huge stain on his resume. Even James, and I don't want to say even, the great James Worthy has a Finals MVP, and he was playing on his team with Magic Johnson and Kareem. So it is what it is. Like the fact that you don't have this and you've been to the finals 5 times is incriminating.
let's just get to the rap stuff. We don't have time to get into all that. Like all that you just said, we don't have time for that.
Those are facts. Is anything false there? He doesn't have a Finals MVP, and he's an MVP regular season talent. Let you know that when you get to that next stage, it's a little different. Everybody else that we're mentioning has a Finals MVP. Olajuwon has that. Kobe has that. I don't know if you mentioned Shaq, but he has that. Larry Bird has that. Steph doesn't have a Finals MVP.
But I have him at 14 or 15. Like the guys that are ahead of him are mostly ahead of him because of how they performed in the prime time. Because his numbers are comparable to most of those guys. He's a better shooter than all of those guys. But he hasn't performed in the clutch. But he still does have 3 rings and 2 MVPs and is the best shooter of all time. It sounds like top 15 type of stuff, don't you think?
I think that he was part of a squad. All right, this is what I will say, and we'll get into everything else we're getting into. The finals that he did win, unfortunately, Kevin Love and Kyrie went down. Next season, when they had to face a full squad, when they were 73-9, they were up 3-1. They had the biggest meltdown we've ever seen in sports history. Is that fair to say? And then the response to that was to go get this guy that you say is number 11 all time.
Yeah.
Correct?
And rising.
Exactly. And so this is Steph's resume. It's what it is.
A couple things like injuries like make things happen. Like if
Hmm.
KD doesn't hurt himself, like Steph has 4 rings, KD has 3 rings, Kawhi has 1 ring, and
Hmm.
the conversation and the scope and the landscape of the NBA is a little bit different. Like injuries have been like affecting things for years. A lot of people don't know. Bill Russell won 11 out of his 13 years. He lost 2 times, but one of the times he got hurt in Game 5 of the finals while they were, I mean, Game 6 of the finals, I believe, while his team was up 3-2.
It's part
So
of the
he actually,
game.
yeah,
But
so he
one thing I
actually should be
will,
up for 13. So injuries have dictated like a lot of stuff. So that's really not fair, like in the catalog of things. Because Bill Russell should have 12 rings instead of 13.
well, no, what I'm saying is that 73-9 team that would have gone down as the best team of all time. There were no injuries in that situation. There weren't. The
Where's
injury,
LeBron?
they
Mike,
melted, huh?
Mike,
Well, again,
where's LeBron all time to you? LeBron's
oh,
like
he's high.
anybody that has LeBron,
He
anybody that, and I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. Anybody that has LeBron lower than 3 isn't really being fair.
no,
So
no,
like you're talking about the
he's
three greatest
top
players to
three.
ever pick up a basketball, and you know what happened? One of the 3 greatest players to ever pick up a basketball played like he was one of the 3 greatest players to ever pick up a basketball. I'm just trying to get you
And
to the
the
point.
other guy
In
looked like a
basketball, it matters. That's why I'm picking KD to win this game because, like, in this game, like having a dude like that dude, no, that dude matters. That dude matters in a game. That dude matters over 7 games.
Steph looked like a regular dude in that series. They were up 3-1, and they clearly had the best team of all time. They were 73-9. They were. There's no way around that. And if he is anywhere in that top whatever, they would have closed out that series.
No, Mike,
And in
Mike.
game
Okay, so
seven, the only person that showed up was Draymond. Am I right or wrong?
no, you're right.
I
Draymond was
mean, it's
amazing.
what it is. And I love Steph.
But
And
Mike,
he made me
of
look like
all
an
the guys,
ass.
no. Of all the guys who have played point guard, Mike, I mean, you would only take Magic or maybe Isaiah over Steph. That's top 15.
As a point guard, I'm taking a
Yeah.
few guys over that. But let's get into hip hop, man. All right. So we're talking the best hip hop albums that came out into 2021 so far. Now, I know we briefly kind of touched upon this the other day when we were doing one of our shorts, and we kind of got cut off. But should we start from the top, or you want to just start from a rough list of albums?
I'm about to say, did you want to talk about Ransom's album first since we never talked about
Yeah,
him
let's
on the
talk
list?
about Ransom's album Seven,
Yeah,
where he took
yeah,
on the seven sins, seven
yeah.
deadly sins. What were your thoughts on the Ransom album? Because I know we've been really ranting and raving about how Ransom has really been taking it there on his features. I mean, even on the Rosenberg album. What was
Yeah.
your what was your reaction to listening to the Ransom album for the first time?
It's great. It's. I mean, for me, like just listening to it for as much as I've listened to it, I really had
Mm-hmm.
the time to dig in on all the projects that I thought were the top projects this year.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it at 2, no lower than 3. It's impressive, Mike. Uh, in like the way the album starts off, like envy, gluttony, and greed. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, those are masterful. And you want to know what I loved about it? Lloyd and Royce, like Lloyd and Royce. Sometimes you can see what the guest appearance artist does, and it kind of lets you know what they think of the artist.
Right.
Oh, they know how nice Ransom is. They bought their A game to Ransom shit. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right. They didn't just dial
Like
it in.
when it's like, oh, when I heard him spitting, I was like, oh, they know they have to go in. They know Ransom's super nice,
Right.
and he is, and he delivers. This project is concise. It's well produced. It's
Yeah.
it's uh it's it's catchy for him, I would say. Like there's some up tempo stuff up here, but he's still himself. He sounds very very comfortable. It has depth. It's a very good project, Mike. I mean, it's a seven. It's 7 songs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's concise and it's dope. I actually just wanted to hear more of Ransom. That's I mean,
Right. You know what? In 7 song projects, and I know Pusha T did that with Daytona, and we got a feature from Ross and Kanye. You kind of want to just hear the artist, you know what I mean? But I think they did a great job, and like you said, Lloyd and Royce brought their A game. They understood who they were on the track with. Donovan
Yeah.
says, "Told y'all." Is like I think he's dropping another joint and with Craven later this year.
Hey, hey, Donovan, was Donovan the cat that told us we
Mm-hmm.
didn't check the ransom? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank
Quan
you.
Newark
Yeah, we gonna.
says Envy was incredible. Ransom's transition from rapper to teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, the way he broke it down, like that's what I mean. The way the album starts off, Mike, when you hear him on Envy, you're like, man, that's a pretty epic start off. Like, I mean, for me personally, I thought that and Sky Zoo's, how does Sky Zoo start off Free Jewelry? Those are the two
Hmm.
best songs to start off albums this year, in my opinion.
Do you think the
Envy.
Ransom is in the running for Lyricist of the Year, MC of the Year? Should we make?
Yeah,
Let me ask you this: should we make those two different things, or is MC of the Year Lyricist of the Year? I want to ask the fans that too, because
I think MC of the Year and Lyricist of the Year. I mean, I think go ahead. No. I want to let you speak on it.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say basically, MC of the year previously, we had done it in a way where it's like the person that was all over the place, right? Like Conway was MC of the year last year. No, yeah, he was. I got the yearbook
You're
right
talking about
here.
artists. Are you talking about artist of the year versus MC of the
Yeah,
year?
I guess artist of the year and MC of the year are the same thing, and I guess well, you know what? Maybe artist of the year and MC of the year, and MC of the year kind of falls into the lyrics of the year, I guess. Because last year it was we made Conway MC of the year, and
And then
West
West Side
Side
MC.
was Artist of the Year. Clearly, West Side was Artist of the Year, dropping what he dropped last year, and executive producing From a King to a God too. So yeah, so I guess MC of the Year and Lyricist of the Year kind of need to be the same thing. But I think if we did have Lyricist of the Year on a singular level, Ransom is definitely in the running for that. That's why I ask. What do you think?
Absolutely. No. If we're talking like lyrically from the MC of the year side, like no. Definitely in the running. Like definitely.
Donovan says,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys for keeping the culture moving forward. We appreciate y'all, man. We're moving this thing forward together. Definitely.
No. Yeah, but I'd say according to hip hop, it's for the people. Like, I mean, I tell people all the time, no. We actually like listening to like what you say, and like if we miss something, let us know, and we gonna circle back around on it and talk about it and chop it up if it's worthy. And Ransom's definitely worthy of the praise. So
We just revamped our website too, so go check out the new
yeah,
according to hiphop.com, according to number 2 hiphop.com. Perfect segue to plug in that. But yeah,
real.
so you said you got this at number 2 or 3, so we're looking at Skyzoo still being the top dog right now when it comes to
Skyzoo's
album of the
album is
year
just
praise.
Skyzoo's album is just more full and more complete
Yeah.
feeling. Like you walk away feeling more satisfied. Like the Ransom Project is satisfied, but that's one of the things. So I'm gonna go back to Daytona versus From a King to a God lyrically. It's like no, same level, but it's like double time though, double the time.
Ooh, so all right, when we talk about From a King to a God in Daytona, you got From a King to a God over Daytona?
Lyrically speaking.
Lyrically speaking. Ooh, Daytona's
Because
tough.
hold on. Here's why. Because it's unfair to Conway for what he did over the course of about 14, 15 tracks. How many guest appearances he have? About 4 or 5.
You right.
Versus Daytona, which is 7 tracks that has 2 guest appearances. It's not fair to the output of the work of the MC.
And when he put out the deluxe, because the shit that he got on the deluxe is hard too. We can't forget about that.
That's smoke.
Then you know what?
Is
That's what I
the
wish.
Stephen Diggs track?
Mm-hmm. That's what I wish that they would have been able to do with Daytona, man. Could we get a deluxe version of Daytona with like 2 other songs on it, or you just gonna leave it the way it is?
That's late, Mike.
Oh no.
Hey, Mike. I know. I've been okay. Go ahead. Where are we going next?
No. I wanna. I think when you talk about Daytona, and I was gonna talk about that 7-track method because Ransom just used it. as great as Daytona is and as complete as it sounds, it is tough to compare it to certain things because it's 7 songs, and if you're going against a record that is twice the time but just as satisfying, we're gonna give the nod to the other record. But Daytona is as perfect as it can get when it comes to 7 songs. And a lot of people had a problem with us making that album of the year in that year because that was the year of shit. That was 2018. So a lot of stuff came out. Victory Lap was one of the ones. A lot of people loved KOD as well. And Victory Lap, KOD, Astro World, something else. But yeah.
So hold on, let's even go to that right quick. I told a lot of people that year that I thought Daytona was album of the year, but if you told me it was Victory Lap for you, I wasn't going to argue with you too much because Nipsey put together a great project that in length extended well beyond Daytona. Like there are more than 7 dope songs on Nip's album, isn't there?
It is. But the way an album like Daytona makes you feel is like they capped this one off perfectly. I find it hard to believe if there was an 8th and a ninth song that those songs wouldn't have been dope too,
No, I get it, Mike. You and I have talked behind the scenes a lot. It's like when you hear the throwaway tracks from like Purple Rain, Thriller, Illmatic, you're like, no, leave it right there.
Yeah.
So
especially Illmatic. Especially Illmatic. Yeah.
Especially Illmatic. Yeah.
What Illmatic songs before? I mean, not to go too far, of course. I know we always end up talking about Nas, but what Illmatic songs did you hear that didn't make it that you think should have made it? Because I guess we all can agree that One Time for Your Mind is the weakest song on Illmatic. What song in the demos have you heard that could have possibly replaced that, or if any? None?
I mean, I guess you want to know it. It would have been nice to hear Primo redo "I'm a Villain."
You know what? If Dice Game was made in that time period, I'm going Dice Game. But again, that's more about the beat.
You know what I was thinking, Mike? If On the Real was actually made in that time frame, that would have been the one I would have liked to hear over One Time for Your Mind. It bangs harder.
Okay. I'm with that. I'm with On the Real. And Deja Vu, what do you think about that? I think lyrically it's there, but production-wise, no.
Production-wise, that's like, no.
All right, well, let's talk about Conway's album as it relates, since we just got finished talking about From a King to a God. Where do you think his latest album ranks when it comes to 2021 efforts?
So right now, I would put Sky Zoo 1. I would put Ransom 2. Do you think the Conway album is better than the Lloyd Banks album? See, I like Conway more.
I think it is.
He's having a run, and so I'm trying to be biased, but I'm also like, I'm kind of 50-50 on those projects right now. I'm really impressed with what Lloyd Banks just did, so it's hard to decide. I would probably give the nod to Conway, but I don't know if that's me being biased or not.
I would give the nod to Conway as well. And I like the Lloyd Banks album. I think that it's very long. I think that was one of the things too. And in today's time, I mean, we want to. I think the perfect effort is between 12 to 14, 15 songs. And yeah, I think it kind of gets lengthy, but he's been away for a long time, so I get that. But yeah, between the two, I'm going with the Conway. I think the Conway was just a little bit more entertaining. I think Conway showed a little bit more diversity, or on the mic and everything. So, but see, I think that Conway's thing is we are rating him against himself. So maybe that's why we're not as incredibly floored with this effort, but it's a good effort.
I mean, it's consistent, Mike. I mean, hold on. As far as this is better than everything that he dropped last year, except for From a King to a God.
Oh, definitely. But From a King to a God's a big one.
It's not. I'm not sleeping on the project at all. It's just like the fact that, Mike, I know what I'm hearing, and so it's like I mean, Mike, he's in a different stratosphere to me now, so I'm officially judging him on the level that I judge a Kendrick Lamar, a Nas, a Jay, a Rakim, a Pusha T. I'm Black Thought. I'm judging him at the highest level right now because he has performed as such.
Can I ask you this? Do you think, and because there was a lot of features on this one, I mean, we had a song with JID and Ludacris. Do you
It was
think that, yeah, it's
that
dope.
beat is dope. That
Do
beat
you
is dope.
think that Griselda is about to get, I don't want to say watered down in a sense where like the mainstream artists who weren't making music with them before are about to start making music with them way more consistently, and we don't get the RJ Paynes on the albums and stuff like we need to? Do you think that
No,
we're gonna start hearing some toned down Griselda records?
no, I mean I don't think so. I mean, look at how many projects they released out their camp last year. Didn't they do like 12 or 13 projects?
Yeah, no limit style. Donovan
So
also says that RJ Payne dropped a new album too, and it's fire. So we got to check that out too. So keep them coming, sir.
I'm about to say Donovan on it, man. Like keep us plugged. Um, okay, so how many projects have they dropped this year? Because I mean we're halfway through the year. That's why I was saying. So the only thing I
Yeah.
can think of is Benny's project,
Mm-hmm.
two Conway projects, and what else? Have we gotten anything else? Like Boldy didn't drop nothing through Griselda.
No.
Money hadn't dropped none of Conway. So they're understanding something. Like that's what I mean, Mike. It's not just what they're doing in rap. No, they're moving smart in business too. They know that they hit the market real heavy and real hard last year. They pulled back some this year
Yeah.
intentionally, has to not oversaturate themselves.
What's going on with Armani Caesar? I wonder. I mean, I was really impressed by the Liz. I know we don't have our man in here who's a huge fan of the Liz right now, but yeah, the Liz was dope, and to me, it exceeded expectations. I didn't really have super expectations for it because I didn't know what I was gonna hear, but
Yeah.
sonically, the Liz was impressive. But I would love to hear another Amani Caesar effort too. But you're right, they pulled back. We haven't even gotten a West Side Gun effort this year,
No,
and
not at
West
all.
Side floods. Dark Low also dropped something with Harry Fraud. Quan Newark says.
I saw that. No, I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah. So
Yeah, I haven't listened yet, but I got it on my queue. It's
what
on
do
my
what
queue.
do y'all think? Y'all think this Sky Zoo is still is in the running for album of the year, or are we crazy?
Everybody think you crazy. You be saying all types of shady stuff about our heroes.
Nah, man, I like Steph a lot, man. Steph just made me look bad. I was talking all kind of shit when Steph used to be in the playoffs, especially that year when they was 73-9. I was like, man, Chef about to torch these niggas up, and then he didn't do it.
Hey, Mike, where is the DMX album at for you?
I forgot all about the DMX album. Respectfully, I mean, you know how you see you're segueing into me shitting on heroes, right? Listen, this is how I feel about the DMX album. I feel that Swiss Beats. I think this is what we were talking about before we got cut off the other day. Swiss Beats has not, top to bottom, produced a hip hop classic. His name
That's
was
true.
on every single song of this DMX album. I don't know if he had a hand in production on all of it, but it looked like he was overseeing that project. I think that Swiss Beats failed that project, in my opinion. Um, so no, I don't even think the DMX album is on the
No?
radar. Respectfully,
Okay.
um, I
I
think
mean, I'm more of your train of thought. Like, I feel like definitely, I mean, for me, with this being his last album posthumously, I mean, I'm just a big fan of going to what works, especially in times like these. And I mean, who produced his best album? Dane Grease and PK.
and Dame
All of
Grease
the
was online the other day saying that there's like 50 unreleased DMX records, and it's like, okay, why didn't we get any of those records on this effort? And I would assume that he produced some of those because he was talking about them. Like Dame Grease was not on this effort at all.
we're gonna have to exercise some patience on that. Maybe there's another project or two coming, and those records will be released.
Well, we did talk about DMX last year too in his feature on the Locks album and just how he sounded. Um, we're it's his music, right? And people age, it's real life, and things happen to your voice, or whatever. And DMX lived a very rough life, and so we're used to hearing an artist at that moment that we fell in love with them, and when you don't sound like that anymore, it kind of takes away from certain things. I remember feeling like that about Busta Rhymes, like when his voice changed up. You know what I mean? It was like, this is cool, but it's not the woo high Busta Rhymes. It takes some getting used to, and I don't think we had an opportunity to get used to DMX and his new, you know, vocals. You know what I mean?
I mean, see, that's what I mean. For me, it wasn't the vocals; it was the pen game. Didn't appear to be as detail oriented. It didn't seem like he was spending as much time with the craft.
That too, yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, because I think we forget because what DMX's biggest records are based on energy. We forget where his pen game actually was because he had a very very special pen game, and he's a very underrated storytelling MC as well.
A very descriptive writer, Mike.
He is.
Gangster shit. It's like Mike. Part of what made his stuff, it wasn't just that he was aggressive, Mike. It was the detail of the aggression.
You know what? I want to do a poll on this real quick, and not to interrupt you, but I got a question for you. Who do you think is a better storytelling MC, DMX or Kendrick Lamar?
That's a good question.
I think that could go either way.
I mean, I was thinking, I was like, man, that depends. I mean, I think that might be about what you prefer.
Because I think that DMX is very descriptive in his storytelling, but he was very they're both pretty animated.
I mean, you want to know what? Because here's the thing with both of them too. You kind of got to be in the mood to hear their stories too.
Yeah, I mean, because the first thing I'm thinking about, and this is not one of the DMX stories that people kind of really think of as a story off top, but that I'm politicking with this chick and wondering if I'm a creeper, a little hood rat chick for 25th and Tamika coming through like I do, getting my bark on. I don't think Kendrick got stories like that, and the way it was just flowing off of DMX's, you know what I mean?
Mike,
I don't know.
Mike, Shireen, Master Splinter's daughter, Shireen.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna say that. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. That's a close one.
Yeah, no. That's a good conversation.
Boom, boom, boom. Knock on the door. ATF. Yeah.
But Mike, but his pen game, even like with the storytelling, it wasn't just that. It's like even when he was talking his shit, it was like he was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like dudes wasn't saying lucky that you dead. Lucky you ain't dead. That you bleeding from the waist down. Like dudes wasn't talking like that. Like he was breaking down what was happening to you.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Keith, man. He said Mike D said that was tough. Chris, what did you think about that DMX album? Donovan says that Good Kid, Mad City was one big story, but see, that's the thing that we talk about with Kendrick, though. On a production level, all of his albums are theatrical. I'll never forget what Ron Bay was telling me about To Pimp a Butterfly basically being theater. And it is. When you go back and listen to that album and with that mindset, this shit is like listening to a stage play.
So Good Kid, Mad City is one overall story, but every song inherently is not a story, but it sets up that cinematic feel that gets executed to theatrical proportions onto Pimp a Butterfly. So it's a setup for the theatrics because it has a cinematic feel because it's like an old school reel of like a black film. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what Good Kid, Mad City is. It's like you almost don't even feel like that Kendrick is in the 2000s. You feel like he could be in 1985 and the story would still be the same. You feel me?
Right. Well,
Right.
speaking of Kendrick, J. Cole's album. You got that album or Conway's album? Which one did you think was the more impressive effort?
No. I got Conway ahead. I'm like you. I had Conway like kind of. I was like kind of had 3, 4 Lloyd and Conway. I was
Mm.
kind of wanting to see what you thought about it to see if I was being biased with my opinion about Conway or not. So I'm gonna lean on you a little bit and put Conway at 3, put Lloyd at 4. That would put Cole at 5.
Really? So you got Lloyd's album over Cole? I don't know, man. I need to go listen to both of those again. I think Cole's album could possibly be better than Conway's album. I don't know. I don't know.
When the last time you listened to it?
Cole?
Yeah. When the last time you listened?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. It's been a minute. You know, it's been like around since it came out. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I heard actually my favorite song on there. I heard that like while I was out today.
Hold on. Let me ask you something. Is there anything on Cole's album that's better than KD or 200 Pies?
No, I think the best song on Cole's album. See, Cole's album is based on it's consistent, right? And I think that's why Cole continues to.
That's how they. All these projects are consistent.
Right.
That's how they end. Like that's how you end up on this list is by being consistent.
Yeah, and it's like no, but it's like he doesn't have any home runs, like you said. I mean, he's batting for average. It seems like no pun intended. I'm not calling Cole average, but you know what I mean.
Average, but let's say it's like when somebody you expect to hit 300 hits 300, you're not gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised if they hit 350.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But somebody that you expect to hit 300 goes out and hits like 302. You're like, okay, like put that season in the books. It's another 300 season.
Well, I mean, "Let Go My Hand" is a dope record. You know.
It's a great record.
Yeah, I think it's the best song on the album, and you know that and "Pride Is the Devil."
I think "Pride Is the Devil" is the best record, but they're interchangeable. Like I think they're right there next to each other. So
I'm not mad at you having Conway over Cole's project. Conway's project over Cole's project because I do think Conway's a better rapper on there than Cole is. Again, I think that I am judging Conway off of From a King to a God, which I think is a borderline classic, to be perfectly honest. So,
okay.
yeah. But with Cole, this is the best album that he's put out in a minute, right? Since Forest Hill Drive. So, I guess that just lets you know that Conway's just better than J. Cole. Forget Kendrick being better than Cole. Conway is. I mean, I say that respectfully, but you know.
Are you talking about like all time, like period, or just like anytime, all time? What you talking? How you talking?
I think anytime, man. I mean, I think that somebody like Conway is just special, man. Like we don't have a J. Cole the Cal verse, you know, we just don't. And not a lot of people have that anyway, but you know.
I was about to say that too. A lot of people that still haven't heard that song don't even know. Like a lot of people don't have that verse, Mike. Like some of our favorite MCs ever don't have that verse. Like I'll give you an example. Does Q-Tip have a verse like that, Mike?
No, and see, I don't even think Q-Tip is known as a MC's MC like that. I think he's just an overall great artist. You know, but when we talk about top-notch lyricists and guys who are just banging you with the bars like that, yeah, you kind of gotta have one of those. Like Kendrick has that. I mean, regardless of what people feel about the Control verse, Control shook up the world, right?
I think he has other verses that he can go to.
He does
better than that. Yeah.
I mean, I love his verse on Black Lip Bastard remix where he was like, "Step inside my damn, I'm tripping. It'll come to me in a minute. Strategic. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, Black Lip Bastard remix verse was crazy. But you know when Kendrick is coming and he has those verses, and I think you're probably going to mention the Phil verse, the last verse of Phil. Like, he has those verses. And yeah, well, he's a special MC, and Jay has those
Yeah.
verses. I think Jay's last verse on "Streets is Watching" is one of his most impressive verses.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Public apologies to the families caught up in my shit.
yeah, man. You know, like you said, it's one. It's funny how one verse could fuck up the game, man.
Well,
So yeah, I mean,
Hey,
I think all the
hold
great
on,
lyricists have
hold on,
those
real quick,
moments.
Mike. I told you, man. Like Jay rhyming his ass off on Volume One.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous.
Oh, I
Like
remember
he's
the Kendrick verse now. Look inside my parking garage and see a collage of every person I despise since the moment I turned 5. Calculate my steps and strategically took my time. Even falling off, I land on the ass of Nicki Minaj. Like, you gotta have those moments. And I don't think J. Cole has those moments. And I have to put Conway ahead of him.
No, the verse on "Pray" on Jesus Piece is one of those moments, but not enough of those moments. I think. Remember the verse on Wale's first album? I forget the name of the song now. It's been a long time.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's had some moments, just not as many as Kendrick, but he's not where Kendrick is all the time because Kendrick's a top 10 MC.
Was Every Day a Star is Born, was that his breakthrough verse on an album, J. Cole?
See, okay, so I think "Every Day a Star is Born" is probably one of the 2 or 3 weakest songs on that album. So.
Listen, I hate that song, honestly, because to me, in my opinion, it's a very arrogant diss record to everyone.
It is.
It's a backhanded compliment.
Guys are me. Yeah.
It's a backhanded compliment. It's like, these people came and went. Look at me, I'm still here. Oh, and I got this guy who's next too. It's like, come on, man. But
That's your boy.
your boy, you know what? I think overall, when the book is closed, I think we would have more to go on with Mr. West than we do with Jigga. Now, Jigga's the supreme lyricist, but if those two were to do a versus, who you got?
Well, Jay probably can't use any of Kanye's stuff, but I would still probably. Ooh, that's Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
I'm going
It's Jay.
Mr. West, man, because he has versatility on his side.
I mean, here's what I'm saying is like, Ye can. Okay, here's why I didn't watch The Throne, because I realized Ye could dictate the pace even with Jay.
He's a point guard.
He's a point guard.
He's a point guard, man. Jay is a shooting guard. He needs you to give him the rock. No pun intended.
No. See, here's the thing. No, Mike. He is like Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas. He's a point guard who can shoot and shoot well and win rings that way. So.
And he could facilitate.
That's what I'm saying. He's Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can go get you 50, but can also go get you 15 assists, if need be.
Jay is like a shooting guard or a center. He needs you to feed him.
He's more of a traditional small forward to me.
Stretch for it. Yeah. But yeah, he can get it at the post, get it wherever he needs to, get rebounds and all that. But Ye can do all of it. He's Magic. That's who he is.
Nah, he's not Magic because like Magic was the leader without trying to be the leader. That's why I'm saying he's more like Steph or Isaiah.
You don't feel like Ye's a leader without trying to be a leader?
Hell no, Mike. No, Mike. Who the hell thinks that? Have you heard him speak the last 20 years, Mike?
No, I'm talking about musically. His antics when you talk about his antics as a personality, they don't match up with what we see the results of his studio work are. He comes across as such a selfish, all about me person, self-absorbed, but when you look at it, he's selfless in the studio. He gets credit to everybody. You know what I'm saying? He gets people on a page. He brings in RZA. He brings in Pete Rock. He brings in Premier. And in the studio, he's a facilitator.
No, Mike.
You don't think so? I think
No,
whatever
I
he need,
okay.
whatever
So
needs to be done, he does
here's
it.
what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. Like, yeah, like he's a facilitator, but it's like okay, so it's like Magic Johnson could dictate the pace of the game and only score 2 points. Like that's why I say like Ye's more of a shooter than that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? Early on, man, he didn't get to shoot anything. He was forced to just pass.
Once again, it's your boy.
He was forced to pass on Guess Who's Back, Heart of the City. You know what I'm
Mike,
saying? Never
that
change.
came, Mike, that came on in my car today. Guess who's back came on in my car today. I'm like, this is perfect. I'm like, it's fucking Juneteenth weekend.
Yeah.
That's like I was getting my car detailed.
So yeah, I mean, he's excelled on every level. Like even when he had to be a facilitator, like he was a facilitator on B. I would say the food, the corner.
No, Mike, when I was thinking about him as facilitator, I was thinking specifically about B in Daytona.
Yeah.
Specific.
Oh, he's
Yes.
definitely a facilitator on Daytona. I think
Yes.
Daytona, and we might have talked about this on our short when we were talking about Nasir, which again, I listened to that album even after our show. People are fucking bugging. Because
It's a
Nas was,
dope album.
huh?
It's a dope album.
It is a dope album. And then you factor in what all was going on at the time. I think Daytona is probably one of his most impressive pieces of work.
Mike, that my Nasir review and my Migos Culture 2 review, I got killed over those the most. I got murdered about that Nasir review. I'm like, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, we gonna wait and see.
Nah, man, it's a dope album. I mean, the only song that I guess is subpar would be the last song, but
And people like
everything because
and
people
people
were
like a couple things.
his first verse on everything. People were quoting that. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a quotable. Dope album. I mean, it wasn't lacking anywhere to me. And in my opinion, I think he had more quotables lyrically than he did on King's Disease. Now, King's Disease might have sounded more current and might have, adjusted sonically well to, the current state and the current environment. But lyrically, give me Nas that was on Nasir.
No. I hear what you're saying, but you also have to understand is that like I mean, Mike, nobody cares anymore. Everybody already knows who Nas is lyrically. It's more important
Yeah.
that he shows that he can be current and make good songs than be this epic lyricist. If you want to know how epic a lyricist Nas is, I guess what? There's this album. It's called Illmatic. It was written, Lost Tapes, Godson. You get what I'm saying? It's like you
Yeah.
already have your evidence of that. You don't have a lot of evidence of Nas making current stuff.
Now, I know we're
No.
talking about albums or whatnot, but let's talk about some of the best songs of 2021. Do you think that the Jay Z and Nas collaboration deserves that level of recognition as one of the better songs of 2021, or was it underwhelming?
There aren't any other publications like saying that that's one of the best songs this year, are there?
Well, I mean,
Oh, it's
you have certain people who are ranking them as one of
that's
the
on the
top
star.
MCs of the year based on just that. I think the song's been forgotten. And I want,
Because it's not good.
but like you said, you could tell Khaled rolled out the red carpet for this. They tried. Like this was
No,
a
they
whole
tried.
full out production.
Mike, they tried. They failed. Motherfucker, try again. Yeah,
Man, we
try
got
again.
two Jay Z and Nas collaborations this year.
Now, I like the other collaboration. You don't.
I don't. It sounds old. I'm sorry.
It is old.
Eh.
What you mean it sounds old? It is old. It's like 8, 9, 10 years. It's like, when, when did Life is Good come out? 2012? Where are we at? 20,
And
it is old.
Jay had the Kardashian line in there. It didn't age well. You know, I don't know. I guess I wish we could have heard the Jadakiss verse on the actual album. I think that
No,
that was deserved.
Mike, you don't remember a long time ago when they actually Swiss and Just Blaze were doing a beat battle.
I remember that.
Swiss dropped it. I sent it to you
I remember
on
that.
Instagram. Yeah.
I remember that.
Like,
And I
yeah.
was like, yo, this
Kiss
nigga's cheating with these unreleased songs. No, I remember that.
First of all, definitely when you have a track with Nas, Hov, DMX, and Kiss unreleased in your pocket at a beat battle, you're not fucking playing. There should be some sort of criteria against that. Like Mike, that's like Marley Marl like pulling out like something with like Kane or Rakim on it that like he might have,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you know what? Speaking of which, I mean, I don't know if you saw that Eve and Trina Verzuz or whatnot. I saw parts of it. Trina, in my opinion, who I thought had no chance against Eve, I thought she killed Eve in that versus. From what I saw and from what everybody else was telling me, they felt the same way. People kind of forget the amount of work that Trina's accumulated over the years and just kind of like her underground pedigree when it comes to B-side records that people know in the club. And, you know, a lot of people said the verses was trash. One of the big reasons, though, you had Eve remoting in on TV from London while Trina's in the club in Miami. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't come down for that?
oh, where do we begin?
I mean, that's embarrassing to Swiss.
You spoke on the first thing that I really wanted to talk about from what I did hear, which is that Trina's B-side records is what won this.
Mm-hmm.
Never disrespect the B-side. B-side records matter. Mike, I'm going to tell you, my favorite Trina record is a B-side record that turned into an A-side single, and that's Be All Right that Kanye West produced.
Yeah.
That was originally a B-side.
Yeah.
She won with her B-sides.
Yeah.
And so also, too, it's like, this is what I mean. Okay, so let's go, since we're talking about, let's go back to the craft again. From what I'm hearing and from what I saw, because I didn't watch all of it, but I went back and caught some snippets, Eve's not in the craft at all anymore. At all.
No. I mean, when you're out of practice, honestly, man, and this was the other part of it, too. Eve was forgetting her own lyrics. She didn't know her own lyrics. And, you know...
she don't even, how about this, Mike? That means she don't even got her shit on her playlist.
You know, for me, as somebody who's had Eve highly regarded and, you know, in a top 5 spot when we talk about female MCs, that was disappointing, I'll say.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know?
I knew you were going to say that. So the question I was going to have for you if we got to this topic is that, can you consider her a top 5 MC?
No.
After what she did?
No.
Because here's the thing about it. What other of the female MCs that we have, like in that stratosphere, do you think would go out there and not know their rhymes? Because Mike, I'm telling you right now, Light and Latifah gonna know their rhymes.
Yeah, you know who has been impressive over the years. Speaking of, you know, the elephant in the room, Queen Latifah and everything that she's been involved in music and acting and all this stuff over the years. Whenever she gets behind that mic, she is on point. You know what I mean? Like, she could be out here doing sitcoms. She could be out here doing movies. She could be out here running her management company, Flavor Unit. She could be out here putting artists out, whatever. But when it's time for her to jump on the track, she's on.
Mike, because she's still part of this culture.
She is. And, you know, hats off to Queen Latifah because... What's that?
It's like a membership. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you retire from working... Like, your membership don't change as long as you pay your yearly dues. Like, she still belongs to the club, man.
She don't take her spot for granted. I'll say that. And, you know, and I know when we were listening to that Rhapsody album, man, and she was on there, she was spitting, man. She was spitting on that K-Slay. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, right now, and I mean right now, Queen Latifah's a better rapper than MC Light. Listen, she's a better rapper than MC Light right now. Right now. And now MC Light got the catalog. I do think she's the female GOAT. But, man.
Mike, it's just like Black Thought's better than Nas right now.
Yeah. But see, Black Thought and Nas aren't even in the same... You know what I mean? Like, they are. But Nas has made things in his prime where when Nas was in his prime, Black Thought wasn't really in that conversation. Light
Oh, that's not true.
Latifah, what I
That,
was saying
that's
is Latifah and Light came around at the same time and were on the same, you know what I'm saying, stratosphere.
so. If I'm not mistaken, Do You Want More comes out the same year as Illmatic, which is 1994.
Right.
There's a big gap between Black Thought and Nas in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
The gap
96.
is the gap is noticeably closer on Illadelph Half Life.
You think?
Noticeably.
You
Yeah, I
think the
mean, Mike, if
gap
we're
is
talking
closer from It Was
Mike,
Written in Illadelph Half Life?
Mike, so if we're talking 1996, lyrically speaking, the only people that I heard better than Thought in 96 that I heard were Nas, Redman, Andre 3000, Lauren, and Jay.
Okay.
So I would have put him sixth that year as far as like an MC. That's how cold he is on Illadelph Half Life.
Yeah.
And so
I
I
think it
probably
got the
would have
closest
had
in 99.
so I would have had Nas at number one, but I would have had Thought at number 6, and that was in 96.
98. I'm sorry. 99, it gets closer.
That's what I'm saying. 99, it's super close, and so and like everything post 2010 lyrically has been Thought. So he just, I mean, like he just hasn't made Illmatic or It Was Written, or like he just hasn't proven to be the song maker and the hit maker that Nas is, but he's every bit the lyricist and MC.
I think we all can agree that Black Thought would out rap anybody, right?
How about this? How about this? Nas is in the rare position, and he's probably only in this position with Thought and maybe Rakim, where he has to lean on the fact that he's the better artist.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I got you.
He only has to do that with a couple guys.
Right. No, I agree. But yeah,
Right.
Queen Latifah gets a lot of props, and you know, unfortunately, I hate to say it, I feel like Eve got exposed, man. And I was one of the people saying that it would have been better if it was Eve and the Brat, but that would have been really embarrassing. I mean, really, man, because if the Brat pulls out stuff like Functified and some of her features over the years, or a B-side with Biggie and shit, you're done.
B-sides with Biggie was gonna get played.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're gonna be done.
I never knew that you never had a clue on who was the king of the street. 4 deep in the Range Rover seat, gats under the Jeep. 4 deep in the Range Rover Jeep, gats under the seat. And my homeboy came home from work release. Like that dude, man. That dude, man. They were talking in the barbershop today, and I was like, man, I don't care what y'all say. Biggie's just the most rounded MC ever. Like everybody can have their opinion about whatever. But when we talk about the pen game, the flow, the voice, the versatility, Big is on a whole nother plane. He was making records that other guys in his stratosphere weren't making. The only people that were making those records was Pac, really, as far as like, you know, radio and street records.
Yeah, stratosphere, if we're talking about epic records.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Mike, when you say all those things, I think to myself, just because we've been having the NBA and playoff conversations and Go Hawks and like all that, I think to myself when you said that, it's like, that really does make him the Mike Jordan of rap, like more than anybody else, because the thing about Mike that really made him the greatest of all time, he's the greatest offensive player of all time. Or how about this? He's the only person that's arguably a top 5 offensive player and a top 5 defensive player, Mike. He has a defensive player of the year. He made all defensive first team like 9 or 10 times. He only played 14 years, Mike.
Who's the only other?
1998, Mike.
I don't know any other shooting guards that got defensive player of the year. Now I know Gary Payton got defensive player of the year as a point guard, but shooting guard.
Hold on, if you want to talk specifically about those guys, point guards and shooting guards don't win defensive player
they don't.
of the year. I feel like Joe Dumars may have won one, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
You want to know what? Sidney Moncrief, but I think he was more classified as a small forward. He won 2 defensive player of the year awards.
Exactly.
I don't know if he's classified as shooting guard or small forward though.
Well, there's not a shooting guard out there with like 900 blocks either, and Jordan has that too.
Wade
did that. But I think
What?
Jordan is I think Jordan's slightly ahead of Wade still in the blocks. But yeah, Wade was impressive. Now you know what? I will give you that.
I don't think so. I mean, Wade's not the defender, on-ball defender that Mike was. He is the off-ball defender that Mike was.
Wade played big as hell, man. I would give Dwayne Wade that. You know,
I
I've
mean,
never, huh?
he's the third greatest shooting guard of all time. After Mike and Kobe, he's third.
I'm gonna
That's
have
how
to
epic
think
he is.
about that, but I'm okay with that.
Anybody you would put close to him hasn't performed the way he's performed in the playoffs.
Listen. Mad respect for Wade. Like Wade was the shit, and I think that his legacy gets overshadowed by the fact that he played with LeBron James. I'll tell you this: in his prime, I'm going into a big game. Give me Wade over Steph Curry any fucking day, and it's not even a discussion.
No, it's not.
It's not. So,
No.
let me see real quick. I want to fact check real quick because this is important. I know we got to get. Yeah, Wade got 885 blocks. He got close. He didn't get that 900 like Jordan. But yeah, I think that does make big the Mike Jordan rap because Jordan had intangibles that outside of him just being a very skilled basketball player that you couldn't teach, you couldn't like his hands, right? Like those big ass hands, having a 48-inch vertical. Those are things that are just, I mean, not everybody comes with, and I think that's what Big's voice was. That's what Big's
Right.
flow was. Even his rhyme pattern, like you got people who go out there and
Yeah.
study these patterns. That shit was natural to him. He wasn't trying to do that. He wasn't. That's just how he
No.
rapped.
So this is what I mean. Sometimes you're born with some stuff. A lot of people don't know this. This is kind of like some Carolina stuff. Like, and I think it's pretty true. Like, Michael Jordan was the tallest person in his family. Like, nobody
By
was taller
far.
than like really 6'2" by
Right.
far. Like, I think the tallest person was like 6'1", 6'2".
Hmm.
So like, you know what I mean? He was
His
just kind of
kids aren't
perfect.
even that
But
tall. It's
no,
crazy.
his kids are more like the height of his family. Like, you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
He's
So he
chosen.
was an anomaly. He was an anomaly. Like Big was an anomaly. That's what I'm saying. Like it just kind of patternized itself, and that's what I mean. So when we talking offense, defense, it's like when I look at offense, defense, it's like the first thing that I want to know from an artist. It's like, okay, if you can make a hit record, it's like, okay, can you make a street record though? Because most guys can't do both, and most guys can't do both at a high level. Nobody did it at a higher level doing both. That's the offense and the defense. And then you go to those intangibles, Mike, delivery, flow, cadence. Ability, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ability to work within a team framework, Mike, because one of Biggie's best traits that kind of goes unstated is the fact that, oh man, you can put him on almost anything.
I was just about to
It's
say
just
that.
like
I've never heard Biggie sound uncomfortable on the record. I've heard Jay
right,
Z sound uncomfortable. I've heard Nas sound uncomfortable on the record.
right,
I've never heard Biggie sound uncomfortable
right.
on the record.
So you know what that means in basketball? It means you can just give him any set of teammates and his game still works within the framework of the team.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Yeah,
about
that's
to
why.
lead
That's
Bad
why
Boy
Mike.
to the next level.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who you gave Mike. Mike was gonna go to the playoffs and contend. It was just about if you was gonna give Mike a Hall of Famer and he was gonna win some rings. As soon as you gave him a Hall of Famer, he won rings.
Well, he definitely he utilized his team. I hate
Right.
that.
When you look at those teams and people call those teams so great, it's like, okay, like you take those teams and then you take Mike off of them and you tell me how they go on.
That first three-peat team was not personnel wise was not that good. I mean, and I say that respectfully, man, but when you think about a three-peat squad, you think about the Lakers, Celtics, even though they didn't three-peat, but you think about teams that are that stacked, or you think about, Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Like, that's the type of talent it normally takes to win three in a row. You don't normally win three in a row being assisted by, John Paxson as your starting point guard. And, you
Bill
have Bill
Cartwright.
Cartwright, who's an aging Bill Cartwright. You got
And now you
Horace
got
Grant.
Cartwright.
Scottie Pippen was monstrous in those years. I will give him that. Um,
See, I don't even know if he was even monstrous yet. It's like you
yeah,
want to know it. He didn't show himself really till the third year of the three-peat. He was he defensively was something else for a while.
One thing that
But
we really got from that Last Dance too, and not to cut you off, is the fact that Pippen was so underpaid, and the fact that he played to that level with that looming bad contract out there, that's even more of a testament to the fact that he wasn't happy. He was, you know what I mean? Like Jordan had to play with a player with talent that was being underpaid. And then you had this other roster
man,
of okay talent. You know what I mean?
no, Scotty
Morale
the
wise, that's tough to deal with.
no Scotty the man.
Because Scotty wasn't rushing to get back from injuries, because he was underpaid, as he shouldn't. And Jordan had to deal with that too. Because management was not helping him when it came to Pippen. They wanted Kukoc to be the starting small forward, really. So, but yes, I think the Biggie is the most rounded, best skill set. Gary Cooper said, "Who y'all got, the Bucks or Nets?" Man, I don't know, man. I think we should go out on that note because I think this game is about to get into the fourth quarter. This Hawks game, that is. But
Yeah, 68-61. I've
oh
been checking.
shit, they done came back. Oh no, yeah, I gotta see this fourth quarter. But yeah, I think that KD's gonna pull it out. I gotta go with the best player in a game seven and the home team. So, and I think Milwaukee chokes. So
How many? Hey, how many players have had two multiple like 45-point triple doubles in like one series? Has anybody ever done that? Two 45-point triple doubles in a
I
series?
don't know. I don't think so.
I think we're about to see it.
You think KD's about to do that? Yeah, he
Yeah,
gave it his all the other
he's like
day, man.
like Mike. This is an opportunity for him. Oh, I mean, he can jump some. Like Mike, I mean, these next 2-3 years are super important for him. If he can take this team to a couple of rings, like
Do you think LeBron's gonna win another ring?
no, mostly because of KD.
Yeah. What if let's just say Westbrook does end up in a Laker uniform? Still don't think so.
No, Mike.
So
I don't think
Westbrook, Davis, and
like
LeBron James.
hold on, Mike. Like LeBron in his prime is the only thing that cancels out KD right now. And LeBron's not in his prime. I don't think you understand that it's like if LeBron would have had that team the other night, he would have been the only person that would have been able to pull it out against KD, and it would have taken whatever he had left in his tank at his age to pull it out, and he wouldn't have had nothing for Game 6.
Yeah,
And KD still would have got him. Like he's like it's like that, dude. Did you see that?
yeah, yeah.
Like he usually don't go 12 for 15 from the free throw line, Mike. That's really should be a 50-point triple double. That's 50, 17, and 10. Like no, that's Mike. That's Wilt Chamberlain stuff.
Gary Cooper says, "Who you got coming out the West? I got the Suns and the Bucks out the East." We'll say this and then we'll get up out of here. Go ahead.
Hold on, I picked Phoenix and Brooklyn before all of this started.
Really?
When all
Okay.
yeah, I did. When all the injuries happened to Brooklyn, is even though I picked Brooklyn to win, I kind of got happy just a little bit because I'm from Carolina, and I've been watching Chris Paul since high school. Chris Paul used to make the news in Charlotte when I was in high school. All right, like I'm sorry, when he was in high school, he used to make the news because I'm older than him. He used to make the news when he was in high school. Okay, so he's been great for a very, very long time.
He has.
This, if taking the team to the finals puts him easy in the top 5 point guard all time conversation. But Mike, if he get a ring,
Listen, man.
oh,
This is what I'm going to tell
no,
you. I'm picking Chris Paul.
If he get a ring, you gotta sit him next to Isaiah and Steph.
Listen, I'm picking him over Steph as a point guard.
As a point
I'm
guard,
sorry.
he's a better
Yeah.
point guard, Mike.
Yeah.
In the scope of things, in the scope of the NBA and greatness, he's not a better player than Steph.
If
Like,
I'm
he's in
playing a
the
video game,
How
I'm
about
picking
this? How
Steph.
about this?
In
How
real
about
life
this?
situations, no.
No, Mike. But what I'm trying to say is that he may be a better point guard, but Steph is the better player.
In the
Winning
regular
this ring-
season.
Hold on, but Mike, winning this ring. Oh no, you can sit him right next to Steph because that's the only thing missing. The trip to the finals puts him in top 5 point guard category easy. the ring puts him right there next to Steph and Isaiah, which means the only person that there's a conversation of who's not better than you is Magic.
You don't think that Steph is? I mean, and Steph is great, but you don't think that he's just had some really good teams too? Because again, it's blaring that he doesn't have a Finals MVP. How you been to the Finals 5 times and you don't have a Finals MVP? Can you name me any NBA great who's been to the Finals that many times, or 2 or 3 times, and doesn't have a Finals MVP?
So here's what I want to say about Steph in regards to all that. When you mean that he's lucky, he's not lucky.
I didn't
so
say
much.
lucky.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. He's
Fortunate.
Not lucky. In terms of the good fortune overall and being put in position, it's like it's not as fortunate as you think. It's just that Klay Thompson doesn't get his just due as the first ballot Hall of Famer that he truly is.
Exactly.
Like how about this, Mike? Mike, would you rather have Klay Thompson or Reggie Miller?
Depends on what my team's needs are. Like I said, if I'm going because all right, period. I'm picking Reggie Miller in a vacuum because I know Reggie Miller can be a number one. You know what I'm saying?
Mike, you say that. Who's a better clutch shooter?
Reggie Miller.
Says who? Mike.
Says the Knicks.
Oh, Mike. Mike, the only reason that Kevin Durant, Mike, the only reason Kevin Durant ended up in Golden State is because of what Klay did in Game 6 in Oklahoma City, not about what Steph did. That's what I'm saying. When the money was on the line, what you'll find about Golden State is that Klay is the guy that comes and shows up and shows out. He's done it on Westbrook and Durant. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree.
Better than Ray Allen. No, listen to me. He's better than Ray Allen and Reggie Miller.
Oh, listen, no. Hands down, he's a better shooter. He's the second best. He's the second best shooter of all time. He's the second.
He's a better shooter and defender. And he's taller and bulkier. There's nothing that either one of those guys have on them, and those are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you on the Ray Allen thing, because Ray Allen hasn't really proved that he could be a number one on a contending team, but he can be a guy who's third, fourth, or whatever on a team that is contending. So I'll give you that one. But Reggie, he proved that he was a number one when it was time to really go to war. And that's a different thing than Klay being asked to step up 1 or 2 games. You know what I mean? It hasn't been proven that Klay could be a number one. Now, on paper, yes, I got you. Like, I love Klay. I think Klay is underrated and understated, but I'm going with Reggie all day. Reggie knew the ball was coming to him. Everybody knew the ball was coming to him, and he performed. He gave it to the Knicks. He gave them 8 points in like 10 seconds.
No, and it might be the greatest run ever in under 10 seconds. But you want to know what's almost as great? Getting 60 points on what was it, 8 dribbles?
No. Yeah. Now, when you talk about being a streaky shooter, yes. When he catches fire, he catches fire.
Mike, guess what I'm about to hit you with, though? Of the 3 guys that we talking about, only one of them is known as an All-NBA defender. Which one of the 3 is that?
No, that's Klay. Klay's a better defender than those guys. Terrence Summer says they were wrong for giving Iggy the Finals MVP.
Mike, didn't you say Klay is a better shooter? He's a better defender. So why are you taking Reggie?
Because Reggie has proven that he could be a number one. It's different, man. When you're in those situations and you know, and the other team knows that the ball's coming to you and it's no question, Klay and Steph, they both have the luxury of the fact that both of them are on the other end of the court. Like, you either gonna have to deal with the best shooter of all time or the second best shooter of all time. When it was Reggie Miller on the team, it was just him.
Let me rephrase it. Let me go ahead and frame this for you a little
Andre Shashir says definitely taking Reggie because Klay has never proven to be a number one guy.
Okay, that's fine, number one guy. Here's the thing about it. Do any of y'all think that Reggie Miller's better than Scottie Pippen?
I'm picking Reggie Miller over Scottie Pippen.
Good night. No. Let's go ahead and go. No. It's not going to go. Because my whole point is that sometimes the second best player on a dynasty is better than the first player on a team that never won anything. And that's how you end up being part of a dynasty. Sometimes somebody that can be a number one takes the role as a number two and knows how to fill the gaps. Where Clay fills his gaps is in the clutch and in the playoffs. Plus, he's a better shooter and defender. So we're talking about somebody that's clutch, somebody that's a better shooter, a better defender.
Let me ask you this: who do you think is better, Scottie Pippen or James Worthy? James Worthy or Scottie Pippen?
Scotty's a better defender, so give me Scotty.
Scotty over James Worthy? Okay.
How many all-defensive teams did James Worthy make? Scotty got 6 rings, about 6 all-defensive teams, and is probably the best on-ball defender of all time.
Scotty changed that small forward position forever. Like,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
He created that stretch forward position.
This with the small forwards bringing the ball up the court started with Scottie Pippen. I never saw the small forward bring up the ball with regularity until Scottie did.
That position was different before Scottie came and, you know, inserted himself in the way he did. I don't really love the fact that Phil Jackson, you know, drew up that play for Kukoc in the playoffs and didn't give Scottie that opportunity to shoot that game-winning shot.
It's just because Tony's a better shooter than Scottie, though. Like, inherently a better shooter.
Yeah. I think Scottie still could have made that shot. But, you know, the Zen Master plays all kind of mind games. Maybe that was one of those things that he wanted to use to get Scottie more engaged. So, I don't know. Who knows? But, yeah, let's watch this game, man. And right now we got Skyzoo as Album of the Year. And let's go Hawks, man. Close these guys out.
Hold on. So, real quick. Skyzoo, then Ransom, then Conway, then Lloyd Banks, then Cole. I got Benny at number 6 right after that for plugs, too.
Okay. Well, we're in the halfway point, man. We're not even in July, and hopefully we get some heavy-hitting records, man. Like, the Skyzoo record is dope. I think it could be an album of the year. I mean, I think it's really consistent. It's a dope record with a lot of replay value, but it can be beaten. I'll say that.
Oh, no, Mike. I mean, I don't expect any of these albums to stay where they are.
Yeah. Because Conway's coming again, like you said. Pusha T said he got Album of the Year coming out whenever that drops.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see.